to be able to play chords on bass is not something that's really crucial or essential to be a successful bass player, either live or in the studio. However, it's lots of fun if we do know how to play chords, especially if we want to work out things on our own, so just work out some chords quickly on the bass rather than having to go to a guitar or a piano or some other instrument. And it's quite good also for accompanying students if you're teaching bass, so it's really very effective there, so the student can play a bass line and you can play chords over the top of that. And of course it may be useful occasionally for gigs, like if you want to play an intro or replace a guitar player for a little while or something like that. So in some ways it can be quite a useful skill to have. So we'll look at some jazzy chords, and I'll begin with one of the most useful chord sequences, and that's a 2-5-1. So that'll be a minor 7 chord going to a dominant 7 chord, and then eventually to a major 7 or a major 6 chord. So to play a minor 7 chord, it's very simple. You place the third finger on the root note, the first finger on the third, so this is going to be a D minor 7, and the little finger, the pinky, on the flat 7. So that gives you that. So that's a D minor 7 chord voicing. It's quite easy to play. You see the thumb wraps around the neck for that. It's not like regular bass playing, it's like playing chords. So, okay, D minor 7, and of course all minor 7s can be played like that. D flat minor 7, C minor 7, and so on. Okay, now if I want to play the 5 chord after that, you've got to look at common chord tones. This is what I look at. So it's just like voice leading on the piano. If there are common tones or common notes between chords, then you leave them there and you just change the notes that you need to change. Now after a D minor 7 comes a G7, so that's the 5 chord, and a G7 has the notes G, B, D and F. Now we already have the D and the F sitting there, so all we need to do is go from the C to the B. So take the pinky off the little finger and put the third finger in there, and you have a G7 without a G, but it's still going to sound like a G7 in this context. I'll show you. So the next one was simply going down to a C minor 7, then an F7. So D, put the bass in, G7, okay, and then C minor 7, F7 with a low F, okay. So you can see how simple it is to play a 2 chord to a 5 chord in succession. And then a lot of jazz sequences, for example, might go 2-5-2-5-1 or 2-5-2-5-2-5-1. Okay, so I'll just show you how to play the 1 chord. Now I'm going to go, let's say D minor 7, G7, C minor 7, F7, B flat minor 7, E flat 7, and then go to an A flat 6 and maybe an A flat major 7 then. So the A flat would be played like this, A flat, then the C, and the major 7th. So we just leave out the 5th. That's not really important to have that in then. If you want to play the 6th, then you just bar across with the index finger and play 1, 3, 6. So that would be an A flat 6, G6, etc. So all these chords are quite movable. Okay, so I'm going to play this sequence now, and I've set up a band in a box track, which took me literally less than 2 minutes to set up, with almost like a full band accompaniment, and I'm just going to play these chords over the top of that band in a box track so you can hear it in context with a real sort of live sounding band. Here we go. C minor 7, F7, B flat minor 7, E flat 7, A flat major 7, A flat 6. So it is really as simple as that. Once you practice these chord voicings, minor 7 to dominant 7 to major 7 or major 6, you've got a lot of chords covered. So minor 7, this one, 3, 1, 4, dominant 7. In this particular case, if you're doing a 5 chord straight after a 2 chord, this works best. 3, 1, 2. Okay, and the major 7, 2, 1, 3, and the major 6, 2, 1, 1 barred. Okay, so you just need to practice that. Make sure your fingers can jump quickly from one chord to the next. Treat it as a guitar. So you can see now on the second chord that I played, I actually am dropping my thumb back behind the neck. That's more conducive for this particular position. So it really depends on how much you have to come around the neck. So you might need to practice, see that wrist jump a little bit there when you do your chord jump. So don't keep the wrist stiff in one position. So, you know, just be flexible. Now finally, I'm going to show you tritone substitute chords. I'll talk about exactly how they work in another video, but I could also, instead of go D minor 7 to G7, I could go D minor 7 to D flat 7, C minor 7, C flat 7, B flat minor 7, A7, and then land on the A flat major. Now here's another voicing for a dominant 7 chord, and that would be, let's say on the D flat, it would be 1, 3, flat 7, like that. Okay, so I can go from the minor 7, D minor 7, D flat 7, C minor 7, C flat 7, B flat minor 7, A7, A flat major 7, A flat 6. Okay, I'm going to show you with exactly the same track how the tritone substitutes sound. Why they work, like I said, we'll sort of talk about that in another video, but let's have a listen to exactly the same track and have a listen to the tritone substitutes in there. Okay, easy enough. Now one final thing which I haven't mentioned at all yet is how to use the right hand. I just simply use thumb, first finger, second finger to pluck the 3 strings as hard or as light as I need to. A bit harder, a bit lighter. So you just got to get your touch control happening there. Of course, you can strum, you can use your fingernails, etc. So you can use all types of right hand techniques. So I certainly recommend that you experiment and enjoy your own experiments. Bye for now.